Hey guys, the Explorer 4 here, Horrorboy 465. Welcome back to some more videos. And I know it's been a while since I've reviewed a Leprechaun film, and I do apologize for that. But I will continue my reviews tonight with Leprechaun 3. I know that on my Facebook page I mentioned I'll be reviewing Leprechaun 4 tonight as well, but I don't know. I might rewatch 4 tomorrow, and then I'll rewatch In the Hood and Back to the Hood, and then I might as well as rewatch Origins. So it's going to take me a little bit longer to get these reviews out because I got to watch these movies. And I gotta find somehow in me the energy of interest to watch Leprechaun 4 and In the Hood and Back to the Hood and Origins, because as you guys know, well, if you guys don't know, after Leprechaun 3, the franchise went downhill fast. So I'm going to have to rewatch Leprechaun 4 in space because I don't really remember too much about it. So tomorrow I'm going to be watching Leprechaun 4 and maybe In the Hood. And then, the next day or whatever, I'll be rewatching Back to the Hood and Origins. It's going to be painful to do. It's going to be annoying to do because this review is on the last good Leprechaun film. And like I said, Leprechaun 1 was an okay film. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too great either, but it wasn't anything too horrible. Leprechaun 2 was a bit better. I thought it was a bit more enjoyable than the first movie. Although, the bad thing about Leprechaun 2 is the acting. The acting was horrendous in Leprechaun 2. Sorry about that. I keep getting these annoying pop-ups about security and stuff. Sorry about that. But, anyways, yeah, like I said, Leprechaun 2 is just the acting is horrible, but the film itself is a decent film. But now we get to my favorite film of the franchise. This is actually a review I was looking forward to do for a little bit, and I just been a little bit busy, and I haven't really had too much time to do any reviews. So that's why you guys haven't been seeing a review of Leprechaun 3 a little bit earlier, is because I just been extremely busy. But today I'll be reviewing Leprechaun 3. Now, Leprechaun 3, of course, changing the scenery again to Las Vegas. And, okay, this is still in the reasonable range. Alright, like I said, Leprechaun 4 in space, okay, that's too far. And then, really, you're going to take Leprechaun to the Hood? Really? Taking him to the Hood? Are you serious? With, like, what was it? Ice-T? It was like Ice-T in Leprechaun in the Hood. I think he was. Yeah, Ice-T was in Leprechaun in the Hood. And then you got Sticky Fingers and Leprechaun Back to the Hood. And you got Leprechaun rapping in those movies. Seriously. No, seriously. I know people are like, well, you're taking it too seriously. It's Leprechaun franchise. I know, but the first 3 movies didn't have that. Okay, they didn't have the Leprechaun smoking blunts and rapping and saying "da bomb" a lot. I mean, I'm sorry. There's a certain line that when you cross, it gets ridiculous. And when you take it to where it's in outer space and you have lightsabers and you have these really awful effects, some good effects. The best effect in that film is when they pretty much, did their own version of The Fly, or they had the scientist turning into this creature. That was a good effect. Disgusting effect, really weird effect. But, anyways, those reviews are for later. Leprechaun 4 in space, I mean, it's just an awful. The title alone should just say how it's awful because it's in outer freaking space. And I guess they're going for an aliens feel with the whole Marines and stuff, but it's horrible. It's awful. And then In the Hood and Back to the Hood is Leprechaun in the Hood. Okay, he's in the Hood. And then Origins is the most generic creature feature flick you could probably see. But today we're talking about Leprechaun 3, which came out in 1995. It's a 4.9 on IMDb. Now, Leprechaun 3 has become a fan favorite of the franchise. For those who are fans of this franchise, this is most people's favorites. Now, I'm not really a fan of this franchise. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of it. There's only one movie I'm a big fan of, and that's Part 3, because I love Part 3. Now, Part 3, like I said, taking place in Vegas is a fun idea, and it's a reasonable idea. When you take it in outer space in the Hood is when it gets out of hand. You don't need an outer space and stuff like that. It's like Jason X. I know people are fans of Jason X. I used to watch Jason X as a kid growing up. But the more I think about it, just Jason X, the plot line of it taking in outer space, it's a bit stupid. I just don't think it's that entertaining. And yeah, I admit this, Hellraiser 4, I don't hate that film. I don't hate it. But Leprechaun 4 in space, and by the way, Hellraiser Bloodline, yeah, it does take place in outer space, but it also takes place in the dude's bloodline. So it does take place on Earth during most of the film, and then the last bit of the movie is in space. But it didn't seem too ridiculous, in my opinion. Like, that movie, I wasn't getting angry about it. I wasn't saying, like, oh, come on, these horrible effects, these horrible... No. Like, Hellraiser 4, I don't know. I didn't get mad at it. Like, it was kind of like, okay, really? Yeah, I mean, in outer space and stuff, but that wasn't the theme of the film. Like, the whole, like, Hellraiser in space, it wasn't like that. It was, okay, he's in space, but there's also stuff on Earth. But Leprechaun 4 and Jason X were themed in outer space, and the pretty much whole film takes place in outer space. Which, I know it's like, well, come on, Nate, this Leprechaun 3 review. Talk about Leprechaun 4 and Jason X. Yeah, but that's just... That review I get tomorrow, but that's just something that kind of bothers me. It's just the whole outer space thing. I just think it's a horrible idea. The Leprechaun 3 is my favorite of the franchise, without a doubt. It's one of my favorite direct-to-video horror films because you have a lot of good stuff to this film. It's a great low-budget horror film with some really good effects. I thought that the acting in this movie was definitely improved. I mean, you had the two lead characters. You had Scott, and you... Wait, was it Scott or... No. You had the two leads. I'll try to see if I can find them on here, but they were pretty much the leads of the film. You got Scott and his girlfriend. She sort of becomes the love interest of the film. I don't know if you're on the cast list. I don't remember what the girl's name was, but yeah, I do know the lead character's name is Scott, and he's going to Vegas. This is his first time in Vegas. He's gonna go to a casino and stuff and have a good time. And at the beginning of the movie, you have this whole thing where this guy comes in. He has like his leg missing, his arm missing, and he's just pretty much missing body parts and stuff. And brings in this statue that's Leprechaun, and he has this amulet around his neck that if it's taken off, he turns into he basically doesn't, because he turns from the statue back to Leprechaun. So if the necklace is on him, he becomes the statue. I believe that was in Leprechaun. Not Back to the Hood. I believe it was in Leprechaun in the Hood. It might have been in Back to the Hood, but I don't really remember Back to the Hood that much because I watched it once and, never watched it again. But, I do think that is carried on in Leprechaun in the Hood. But I don't think it was carried on in Leprechaun 4. I think Leprechaun 4, it was like Leprechaun was alive and he was just alive on like a planet somewhere. From what I can remember, at least. But, the statue idea is a pretty decent idea. I think it's definitely not the same idea as like parts 1 and 2, because you had that's like these movies, they're sequels, but they're not really sequels because they don't really follow each other. Like this one has a statue. There was no statue in part 2, but at least I can say that's a decent idea. Okay, a statue, the amulet, and he takes it off and it becomes the actual Leprechaun. That's a decent idea. And you got that really brutal stuff where he bites the shop owner's toe off, and I think he bites a piece of his ear off. Pretty good effects. And pretty much goes around Vegas, goes to casinos, mainly just one casino, and causes havoc at a casino. I think it's just a fun idea. I think it's a great time to watch. It's an hour and 30 minutes. It's rated R. Now, the thing with this movie, I don't know if the other movies said direct-to-video on them, but Leprechaun 1 and 2 are saying that they're in theaters. But in this movie, it's categorized in the direct-to-video stuff. But, I think that as a direct-to-video film, it's very surprising. They used their budget very well. There's some great shots of Vegas at night. I love the poster. of the film. Leprechaun up there in the sky in Vegas and the Hatton Road. Love that poster. Some great kill scenes, like where you got Caroline Williams in this film. Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, and she was also in Contracted, which is a newer horror film which I haven't seen yet, which I think it's got a sequel too. But she was in those movies. She's also in Hatchet 3. Big fan of Caroline Williams, and in this movie she does a great job. You know, sort of the stuck-up character, being a jerk to everybody. And her dream is to look a little bit better. She wants to look more beautiful and stuff. Leprechaun, she makes this wish, and Leprechaun gives her what she wants in an evil way, and basically implodes her to where, like, her boobs get big, her butts get big, and her lips get big. Like, everything inflates, and then she blows up in a gory explosion. It was definitely a great death scene. You also got that great death scene where this guy, he's like a magician, but he's like a phony magician, and his wish is to be this great magician and to actually have these really cool tricks. And he does the whole trick where he puts the leprechaun puts the magician into this box, and he saws it in half with a chainsaw, and when he opens up, there's like guts that fall out, like he really sawed him in half. That was definitely a really fun death scene. And just the whole tone of the film, I don't really remember too much from the score, but I didn't remember hating it. Definitely has some great effects. You got that one scene where this, I think the owner of the casino, he's like flirting with this girl, the lead girl in the film, and pretty much he thinks that the girl's making out with him, but the girl's like a robot, and it like shocks him and blows up and stuff. That was a decent death scene. It's just got some decent death scenes, some really good practical effects. The pretty good idea of having the lead character, when he's bitten by Leprechaun, he slowly turns into Leprechaun's brother. That was definitely an interesting idea. Definitely it was his brother or his cousin, I don't remember. But, you know, I think it was somebody related to the Leprechaun. And I like that idea, and, you know, he starts eating potatoes and, you know, looking for gold. And throughout the movie, he just changes, you know, his physical appearance changes. He gets, like, long hair and really gross-looking skin. And he becomes obsessed with gold and killing people for this gold. But he actually stops himself, I believe he stops himself, before he actually kills somebody. Or he might have killed somebody in the film, I don't remember. But I know that by the end of the movie, he pretty much fights back, and they end up killing the Leprechaun. But from there on, it's pretty much a basic plot. You know, this character, he has this gold coin, Leprechaun wants it, chases around the casino a little bit, and that's when he gets bit. And from there on, it's them trying to figure out what's going on with this guy. He's, you know, turning into this leprechaun. And by the end of the film, the leprechaun is going to kill the lead girl of the film, and the guy ends up fighting through it. It shows there's still a little bit left of him left in that leprechaun, and Leprechaun's like cousin or brother, whatever it was. And he goes into this hospital, or I think it's actually at the magician stage, and they end up defeating Leprechaun. And then at the end of the movie, a Leprechaun, where I think they burned the gold or something like that, and Leprechaun turns into fire or something. I think they burned the gold, they destroyed the gold, and Leprechaun bursts into flames and sort of flies up and, you know, hits the ground or the stage, whatever it was, and dies. But yeah, Leprechaun 3, it's a fun movie. It's a really fun film because you got a good combination of okay. In the first movie, the acting was okay, but it wasn't really the greatest. In the second movie, it was pretty bad. This movie, they bumped it up. I enjoyed the lead characters. I enjoyed the Scott character. I enjoyed his girlfriend. I enjoyed some of the background characters in the film. Warwick Davis did a great job in this film, coming back to play Leprechaun again. Does a great job. Some really good gore effects. Definitely a rated R film. It's an hour and 30 minutes, so it goes by in a flash. Does not drag at all. And the thing about this movie is it kept it straightforward. It didn't make it cheesy. It didn't make it to the point where it was cringeworthy. Like, the whole pogo stick death scene in the original movie was kind of cringeworthy. Leprechaun 4 was honestly kind of cringeworthy with the effects and stuff. But this movie, the effects look pretty decent. The death scenes are pretty good. And just in general, Leprechaun 3 is just a fun sequel. It's my favorite of the franchise. One of my favorite direct-to-video sequels out there. And just in general, one of my favorite direct-to-video films. Really enjoy it. That's why I can say I'm not a big fan of the franchise, because after this, you get crap like this. And then you get crap like Origins, which really has nothing to do with the original franchise. Nothing at all. Which it's like, is it a prequel? Is it a spin-off? Is it a sequel? Is it a remake? I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe Leprechaun Origins. Is it a sequel or is it a spin-off? Is it a remake? I have no freaking clue. But, you know, with this movie, and also you do have Leprechaun 4 after this, which is awful as well. But Leprechaun 3 is a fun film. It's a really fun time. And it's my favorite of the franchise. But like I said before, it's the franchise as a whole. I can't say I enjoy the franchise as a whole because the first two movies are just okay. But I can say, however, I'm a big fan of Leprechaun 3. Love Leprechaun 3. But the rest of the franchise, like, the first one was okay, second one was okay, third one's my favorite, but the rest of the franchise from, like, 4 on was just horrible. But Leprechaun 3, one of my favorite direct-to-video horror films. Really enjoy it. And, yeah, so thanks for watching my review of Leprechaun 3. And I will see you guys tomorrow for my review on Leprechaun 4 in space, which is going to be a pain to watch. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review of Leprechaun 3. And I will see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.